We've always needed monsters. From living in caves to building cathedrals, humans have invented gods that punish, devised demons that torment, and created creatures for the sole purpose of spiritual self-harm. Across every continent and culture, we have poured our deepest fears into our founding myths and legends. Perhaps because all of our nightmares drain into the same dark reservoir. What Jung called the collective unconscious may well just be a churning abyss where archetypes of pure evil gestate. So I've assembled a list, a grim, internet-friendly countdown of some of the most crushing abominations humanity has ever created. So get comfortable and pour yourself something strong. These are 7 shockingly evil myths and legends. When they weren't creating gods who were total pieces of shit, the Greeks were busy dreaming up nightmare monstrosities like the Chimera, a fire-breathing freak show with the head of a lion, the udders of a goat, and the tail of a serpent. A grotesque twisting of nature into a murderous impossibility. According to Homer's Iliad, the original Chimera was slain by a guy named Bellerophon, there we go. But the monster's concept and its appeal endured long after that particular Chad of antiquity finished flexing. Chimeras are stitched together from our darkest imaginings. Their fundamental wrongness comes from the fact that they simply should not be. They violate our understanding of what's natural, plunging us into the funhouse mirror of the grotesque, where the world and our place in it no longer make sense. Lamashtu, goddess of infanticide. Lamashtu can be traced to Mesopotamia, where she was a demon of the ancient world. She's blamed for what we'd now call sudden infant death syndrome and other tragic infant cot deaths. But Lamashtu was no mere boogie woman. She was a deity, an evil deity. Lamashtu basically eats babies and is responsible for all the worst things that can happen to babies. They even had a special incantation against Lamashtu. Great is the daughter of heaven who tortures babies.
Her hand is a net. Her embrace is death. She is cruel, raging, angry, predatory. A runner, a thief is the daughter of heaven. She roars like a lion and she constantly howls like a demon dog.
I can fix her. When she isn't causing miscarriages, Lamashtu likes long rides in her boat on the river of the underworld, and also donkeys for some reason. Let's move on. And next up on the list is Crumb Crotch. Oh, wait, I am being told that's Crumb Crotch. Anyway, Crumb Crotch was a prehistoric Irish fertility god steeped in blood sacrifice and despair. According to Irish lore, he stood on the plain of Mike Slough, which is located in County Cavan in Ulster. There, his terrified worshippers would sacrifice their firstborn children, casting them around the idol with much wailing and weeping. And in return, Crom would grant them earthly prosperity. This wasn't unusual for ancient agrarian religions. Fertility and death, feast and famine were 2 sides of the same bloody coin. One necessitated the other, and Crumb Crotch was the crooked bridge between them. Eventually, St. Patrick arrived and staged a holy intervention and smashed Crom's idol and, according to legend, freed Ireland from his blood-drenched dominion. For Jesus. He returned in folkloric form, first as the Dullahan, a headless horseman who can claim your soul just by speaking your name, and then as Crom Du, his Christianized shadow. Number 4. Leviathan. Leviathan is less of a monster and more of a category error. A reality-breaking symbol of enormous scale, pure chaos, and oceanic annihilation. An ancient thalassophobic terror that makes even Elohim sweat. Leviathan first surfaces in the Hebrew Bible, particularly in the book of Job, where he's described as a massive, fire-breathing sea beast, wreathed in smoke and impervious to mortal weapons. God uses him as essentially a rhetorical flex. Can you draw out Leviathan with a hook? Didn't fucking think so. Elsewhere, Leviathan's legend grows. In Psalms 74:14, it's said that God crushed its heads and fed it to the creatures of the desert, suggesting a multi-headed chaos beast. And in Isaiah 27:1, they set Leviathan up as basically a celestial heel, a symbolic adversary of divine order to be slain at the end of times. Leviathan is part of a deep mythic tradition of primordial sea dragons who embody the void and the apocalypse. A monster so massive and untamable that even the creator of the universe puts respect on its name. Number 3. Skinwalkers. If Leviathan horrifies us with its cosmic scale, Skinwalkers horrify us with something far more intimate, the betrayal of our own kind, or maybe even of our flesh and blood. Known in Navajo tradition as Yi-Natlushi, Skinwalkers are malevolent witches who deliberately forsake their humanity by violating sacred taboos. Most notably, this happens when you murder a close relative. This act severs them from the Navajo community, excommunication through atrocity, and in return, it grants them supernatural abilities, shapeshifting into animals like wolves, coyotes, foxes, and owls, mimicry of human voices, preternatural speed, stealth and strength, mind control, and the ability to induce illness or death. Basically all the most toxic and broken builds in a multiplayer game. But unlike most folklore, this isn't just a story. It's said that even speaking their name aloud, especially at night, can draw their attention. Stories persist of hikers being stalked, of glowing reflective eyes watching from the dark, of voices calling in a loved one's cadence but not belonging to anyone. If skinwalkers exist, they aren't just monsters. They are us, just unsalvageably corrupted. From the Ewe folklore of Ghana and Togo, the Adze is a parasitic vampire spirit that breaks every expectation of how evil should look. It simply becomes a mosquito, slips through your window, and buzzes unnoticed in the dark, feeding on you as you sleep. But the Adze is no ordinary bloodsucker. It drinks your life force, your essence, until you're nothing but a hollow, glassy-eyed husk. It especially targets children, leaving them increasingly weak, sickly, or mysteriously dead, their vitality quietly siphoned night after night. If caught in its human form, the Adze becomes even more dangerous. It doesn't die. It possesses. It infiltrates a new host and continues its quiet campaign of erosion, causing misfortune, disease, madness, and spiritual apocalypse in the community. The Adze isn't a dramatic monster. It's intimate, it's quiet, and it's forever. Manangal is one of the most iconic beings in Filipino lore mythology. She belongs to a larger class of aswang, shape-shifting monsters that often includes ghouls, witches, vampires, and werebeasts. Among these, the Manangal is uniquely grotesque. By day, she may appear as a quiet woman, maybe a widow or a midwife, somebody trusted by the community. But when darkness falls, she undergoes a horrifying transformation, ripping her upper body from her legs, sprouting wings, and soaring through the night sky as a flying torso that feeds. She specifically preys on pregnant women, using her long, hair-thin, proboscis-like tongue to pierce the belly and drink the blood or consume the heart of the fetus. Sometimes she targets newlyweds or sleeping couples, adding a romantic betrayal to her maternal violence. Her origins are a confused and cautionary myth of colonialism and animist beliefs. To kill a Manananggal, you must find her lower half, left standing and vulnerable while she hunts, and cover it in salt, garlic, ash, or other holy items. And without reattachment, she dies at dawn. We love creating monsters that break our brains, grotesque violations of our comfortable reality, horror shows that terrify, instruct, and secretly delight. Part of us recoils at these manifestations of purest evil, but another part, it leans in, drawn toward that dark reservoir pooling in the recesses of our subconscious, where other monsters percolate, waiting for us to give them form and name. So if this video was worth the minutes of your life spent watching it, then please, by all means, like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know down in the comments what your favorite brain-breaking embodiment of pure evil is. The one that haunted you, the one that changed how you sleep, or if you sleep. I'm Goblinsburg, and I will see you in the next one.